I don't need to tell you guys that Across the Spider-Verse is the best Spider-Man film to exist. My favorite Spider-Man film is The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Hot take, I know. But I think we can all universally agree Across the Spider-Verse S tier. It's a superhero movie that excels in animation, representation, and storytelling. This movie introduced a bunch of new characters and gave us some fresh faces to keep things exciting. And this is the character we're going to be talking about. Miguel O'Hara is a version of Spider-Man set in the year 2099. He stands out with his futuristic appearance, the suit being pretty much blue with metallic and reflective accents, along with a red skull-like spider symbol and a menacing mask to match. This version of the character originated in the post-credit scene of Into the Spider-Verse, but played a major role in Across the Spider-Verse. Right from the start, the film establishes Miguel as a formidable character. In one of the first action scenes, he proves he's more than capable when facing off against the Vulture. But then we never see him again, until the second act. In the meantime, we get put into Miles' shoes and only hear mentions of him. Gwen explains that Miguel leads the Spider-Verse team she's a part of, implying he's a very powerful Spider-Man, while Jessica speaks about him with respect. Respect that borders on fear. But what's interesting is the film is letting the audience and Miles build up Miguel's character in their head until we see him again, literally towering over Miles. The stage has been set for his impact on the story, but the question is, how? All we know now is that he's this mysterious, powerful figure who leads a group of spider people. So to understand his impact on the narrative, we need to go back in his timeline and understand his motives. So after operating as Spider-Man for quite some time, Miguel discovers a way to move across the multiverse and finds out about a world where an alternate version of him is killed, leaving a family behind. He decides he just wants to be a dad. Unfortunately, the cosmic balance of the multiverse considers this an act of transgression. Of course, that universe's population has to be wiped out, including Miguel's adopted family. So to prevent others from suffering a fate like his own, Miguel recruits a team of Spider-Men, women, animals, and other spider characters together in a spider society, to stop threats to the multiverse, but also to make sure canon events happen. These motives allow us to differentiate Miguel O'Hara as an antagonist and not a villain. There is an important distinction between the two. An antagonist is a broader term that refers to a character or force that opposes the protagonist, the main character or hero of the story. The antagonist can take many forms, such as a person, a group of people, or even an abstract idea or force. The primary role of the antagonist is to create conflict and obstacles for the protagonist. Antagonists don't have to be evil, they just stand in opposition to the protagonist's goal. Villains are deliberately designed to evoke a negative emotional response from the audience. Take the Spot for example. All he wants to do is kill Miles' dad and prove that he's powerful. So what separates a villain from an antagonist are their motivations, which brings me back to what I said earlier, to prevent others from suffering a fate like his own. Miguel has reasonable motivations for his actions. Miles wants to save his dad, but Miguel won't let him because it will cause a universe to cease to exist. While his actions might seem contradictory to a traditional hero's path, they're rooted in a deep-seated fear that echoes the sentiment of, with great power comes great responsibility. The idea of losing another universe and the multiverse collapsing scares him. This is why his mission is so important to him. Miguel's resolve stems from a place of genuine concern born out of personal experience and a desire to prevent further anguish. He isn't blindly following a path of destruction, he's navigating a morally grey landscape, grappling with choices that challenge our notions of heroism.
I'm not like the others. I don't always like what I have to do, but I know I have to be the one to do it. I've given up too much to stop now.
What's great about Across the Spider-Verse is the parallels and depth these characters have. Miles and Miguel are two sides of the same coin. They both face the same problem when it comes to multiversal events, but they react differently to it. Miles believes he can change his fate and that it's worth the risk, but Miguel sees the long term. One person is not worth a whole universe. That similarity between Miles and Miguel is so effective that it elevates the story from a simple tale of good versus evil to an exploration of the human experience. Spider-Man 2099 stands as a testament to the complexities of being an antagonist with a purpose. He's not just an obstacle, he's a mirror image. a version of what could have been. Miguel's pursuit to prevent multiverse catastrophes, even at the cost of an individual suffering, underscores the heart of his character. In a world where villains often lean into pure evil, Miguel's journey speaks to the grey areas that make us question the boundaries of right and wrong. Across the Spider-Verse presents a character that doesn't just heighten the stakes, it challenges us to reconsider how we perceive the actions and motivations of those who stand in opposition to our heroes, and to have a discussion about the true essence of being a hero.